All right, we're ready. We're going to start a couple of minutes early because Mitch has got so much to cover. First of all, are there any new people here today?
Okay, great. We got lots of new people.
Why don't you tell them about
Let me tell you a little bit about our club. We meet almost, I'm going to say 95% of the time, every week on Wednesday here at 11:30. And the meeting schedule is generally the first Wednesday of the month is a question and answer that Jerry, our president, usually handles. Generally the second Wednesday of the month is iOS 7, iPhone, iPad, which generally I will coordinate those meetings. And then we have then the third meeting of the month is Q&A again. The fourth meeting is iLife, and is that right? iLife, and George usually does those. And if there's a fifth Wednesday in the month, it's Q&A again.
No, we usually have the speaker.
Speaker. Okay, speaker. Now, sometimes the schedule changes because George is really good at getting great speakers. We've had several of the high-level people from Macworld podcast into us for an hour and 15 minutes. And they do a presentation with Q&A, and that's great stuff. We tape several of the meetings. I think they're taping the meeting today. Is it running?
It's running.
I'm going to get up here so people know who I am. There. I'm Mitch Bryars, and I'll be doing the meeting today. Okay. You're welcome to attend. It's open to the public. It's free. If you want to join, it's $20 a year. I know that'll really set you back. It's $25 for a family membership. Don, our treasurer, is in the back, and he has applications on the table. There are some definite benefits of being a member. First of all is that you're eligible then to be on our discussion board, which is a private board that's run through Yahoo, where you can post questions that you might have, and you will get responses. The second thing is that we run a series of 8 to 10 courses a year, generally starting about mid-January, going through mid-March at Hodgins University. The courses usually go for 2 hours, 3 hours, and they're generally on Mondays. And so I'm going by memory, but last year we had 2 courses on Mountain Lion that went for two weeks, and they're $10 a course, and they're only open to members. Then we had a course, I think, on iPhoto. I know we had one on iOS 6 at the time, and iPad, iPhone that I did. We had another one that Marilyn did. I don't know if Marilyn's here today. She did some on some iPad apps, and there were a few other subjects in there I'm sure I'm forgetting, but it's only open to members. The class size is limited to about 50. Okay. And then we have a meeting on the second or third Monday of the month in here at 5 o'clock to 6:30, 6:15, and a lot of times we have an outside speaker for that. Sometimes Jeff was here with us today. Jeff is on the board. Is that correct?
Well, no, but I do Monday meetings a lot. So.
Yeah, Monday meetings a lot. Okay. So I think that's it for introductions. Did I miss anything?
No.
So we're going to go over iOS 7 and the new operating system. How many people have gone to the new operating system? Almost everybody. How many still have the old operating system? A couple. Okay, 2 or 3. Okay. Sorry, but we're not going to talk much about the old system, but I will answer any questions if you're thinking about going to the new system. And there are a lot of similarities, I'll tell you that. I'm sure you've read that. How many people have the new phone?
Coming.
Oh, it's too bad. I got mine the other day. I didn't get the gold. I got to get the...
I got to go.
I got the silver, I canceled my gold, I wasn't gonna wait. Okay,
My wife got a 5C.
a 5C, okay,
Yeah,
good.
my wife's getting a 5C.
5C, how many other 5Cs are?
Not you used to?
Any here? No, okay.
No,
So-
no, I'm sorry, you're right, she is getting my good.
So I was, about a week and a half ago, I was in Cupertino, headquarters of Apple. I have some clients over there that I visit annually, and they always take me around to different sites. Last year, I went to buy Steve Jobs' house. This year, I told them, I said, I want to go to the Apple campus because I understand it's the only place where you can buy Apple clothing. It's the only store that sells Apple clothing and memorabilia. So they called up a friend. I have several friends that work at Apple still, and this guy used to work with Steve Jobs at Next. And we got into the campus. This is a picture of the campus. This is their cafeteria, which is huge. And they have just any kind of food that you would want, very reasonable. This looks like a small umbrella area. It goes on for a long way, and there's a, not shown here, there's an area over here that is big, and it was very nice. So we toured that. And there I am at the company store, right there, company store. And there's the sign of the company store. There's the map proving that I was there, right there. Okay, and there's another, there's the Infinite Loop, which is a programming term. And then that's the main building, yes. That's right, we walk in, all guarded, had to have a pass to get in. And there I am. Okay, so,
Look like you're wearing the spats.
yes.
Your Apple dress.
Okay, so while I was there, I brought back a couple of gifts. And I brought back one for our president, Jerry, in recognition of his dedicated service to our club over many years. Jerry, can you step up? There you are. There you go. I have one more for George.
Well, thank you.
Now, I just couldn't resist treating these guys to an apple hat. I apologize to the other board members, but I operate on an unlimited personal budget.
Yeah, right.
I do.
You should raise your debt free.
Yes. Okay, so with that, we can get going. And one of the first things I want to talk about, this is iOS 7 on my iPad, and I want to go over some other photos. So this is my iPhone. And this is their, if you go and pick wallpaper, this is the one that moves around that drives people crazy. But you can, I just want you to see what you can, how the different look of these things and how these, the icons are going to be, these are going to be the same on every screen I pull up. I just want to show you the various differences, because some of them, a lot of people complain it's hard to read, the colors are not right, and so on. So this is one of their choices, it's the one that moves, and this is the one that stays still. And then if you're selecting wallpapers and you press on this one, it allows you to select a lot of other ones that they have built in. I've got a couple of those in here, I think, or one or two. Yeah, this is one of them. This was the one that has the ocean coming in. And to me, that's very hard to read with that kind of a background. This is one that I selected out of my library. Oh, I'll select this great mountain scene. Well, if you're selecting a great scene of anything, it really makes it difficult to read. Okay? Vicki is not here today, I don't think. No. We had a little discussion on the board about this, and Vicki came up with this one, which is a selection. an Apple selection that looks pretty good. I mean, I liked it. And it has a texture to the thing, and things sort of pop out at you. And then I thought, well, that looks so great. I'm gonna select one out of my library that's all black. And so this is mine.
That's good.
And that really pops out at you.
That's what, in the
Yes.
setting. Question, are these available on the iPad? Because I've been
Yes.
following that yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you where these are. So this one isn't. I mean, the picture of the mountain and this one is custom. You pick from your own library.
Mitch, do you want to take questions during or after?
Well, I'll take some during, but not yours. No, and yes, questions are fine. But, so, everybody I show this to sort of likes it, and, because things pop out at you. The way you get this is really difficult. You put your thumb over the lens of the camera on your iPhone or iPad, and you take a picture. And then you select that picture as your wallpaper. Okay, and I'm going to show you that real quick. So I'm going to go into this. We're going to go in and out of this a lot. This is where I have the settings, which now looks like in iOS 7. It looks like a stove burner to me.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't like a lot of these icons.
No.
There's nothing I can do about it. We can all complain if we want. And I did turn on bold print, so it's easier to read. So, and I'll go over that setting, but all this is in bold. It doesn't really come out at you on this screen, but when I'm looking at it here, it does. So I'm going to go into here. We'll be going into settings a lot. So if you go into settings, and you go down to this wallpaper area. So if I click on this one right here, this is the one that moves around, dynamic, and then also moving around eats up batteries. Okay? And this is the one that's still. So if you select the still one, these are the choices. I had up on the screen this one. I had this one, which was the ocean. And I had this, oh, I don't see the black one. Well, it's not on the iPad. But the black one is on the iPhone, the one with the pattern. Okay? That Vicki came up with. Now, so you can,
How did you get that?
you go right here into settings and go to wallpaper
Right.
and brightness. And these two will be at the top.
Well, how do you get in the
What's that?
How do you get in the other?
Well, are you, now, it could be, if, what kind of an iPad is that?
2.
2. It might not be available on 2. Are you on iOS 7?
Yes.
It could be, some of these things that I'm going to show you, if you have 2,
It is.
It's on 2.
it's on 2?
How do you get it?
Well, Jerry needs some help then.
I don't have.
That's rare.
What about on the phone? It's Wi-Fi.
I'll have to talk to you about that afterwards. Okay, great. So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, but are there only 2 choices?
No. When you touch on this one,
Yeah.
Which ones?
Oh, okay.
when you touch on the one that says
Okay,
still,
then you get
then
the
those
others.
come up.
Then you get the others.
Okay?
Yeah.
Got that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go back right here. Now, if you want to choose from your camera roll or any of your other photos, they're all listed down here. If I go to my camera roll and I go up
This, you get this.
and might be on my shared one. Let me just run here. So I'll go to my photo string. And voila, there's a picture of my thumb, the black screen. And you just choose that. And it comes up, and then it says, do you want to use this for your lock screen, your home screen, or both? Okay? And I want to use it for my set it for my home screen, not my lock screen. So I hit on that. I want to hit on it right now, so it's stuck on me. It did stick on me. Well, sorry folks, but, oh, there we go. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it did come up, okay. So that's how you select it. And if I go back in here, there it is. Okay? Questions on that?
Did you say the dynamic moved around?
The dynamic will move around. Now, there's a way to stop it from moving around. I'm going to go
Oh,
over
I
that.
see it, now it's moving.
Yeah, it sort of moves. That eats batteries. Okay, so here's another thing is that this is where you set up your brightness. It's one of the places that you can set your brightness by dragging this bar. You can put it on automatic brightness. The way I read one time, and I don't know if this has changed, but they say to go in a dark room and to turn it on, get it where you want it, turn the brightness off, turn it on again in a dark room where you're comfortable, and that'll sort of set the tone for it. And then it won't become overly bright when you're in a room like right now.
What about in sunlight?
It'll compensate for that. It should compensate for that. But if you want to, you can always open it up and drag the bar. Okay? Now, you know, there's this version of iOS that they released. And I've commented on this before. It takes a minute to get used to. That's the way I like to put it. For some people, it takes a few days or a few weeks. But once you get used to this, at least my experience has been, there are vast improvements, and there are things coming that we don't even know about that are coming. And that has to do with the reason why they put in the 7-chip and the 6 motion chip in the device. And in the next year or so, you're going to see some things that, I don't know what they're going to be, but they're going to, they don't, there's been some articles, well, they just did that for marketing, they just did it, but Apple doesn't do that. There's a reason why the power is there, and it's not being fully utilized yet. So, but there are some things that, I mean, even I don't care for on this, and one of the things is the visibility, some of the app colors and things like that. And there's been a lot of articles written on that, and there is a way, there are some ways to help you in that area, and I'm going to go over those now. So again, in this same area that I'm in, which is settings, instead of going to the wallpaper, I'm going to go to this general area. And when you go to general, what I'm going to do is go to this accessibility area. General.
You're right off the second column.
Oh yeah, accessibility, right there. You're going to tap on that. And here are some adjustments that you can make that might help you. One is larger type. If you want larger type, turn this on, and when you turn it on, you can then play with this bar. Okay? It doesn't apply to all the text in all documents, but it applies to some of it. Okay? So go back now. Just go back right here. The other thing I mentioned is bold text. Now, I want to warn you, if you turn on bold text, this warning comes up. If I hit on it right now, I want to turn it off. The warning will come up, and it'll say, oh, if you want to change from bold text, you're going to have to restart your device. If you want to change to bold text, you're going to have to restart your device. So if you want to do that right now, you're going to have to go through a restart. I'm going to hit cancel. But the bold text makes things a lot more readable. Has anybody done the bold text and likes it? Yeah, quite a few of you? Okay. Increased contrast also helps with contrast and visibility. So I would turn that on. Reduced motion, yes.
Does that use more battery power?
No,
No.
uses less.
On a 5?
On any of them, it uses less.
Thank you.
The contrast, if you've seen the contrast where, I don't have it on, but if you see it where it's translucent and you can sort of see what's going on in the back of of whatever you're looking at, that is what that increased contrast has to do with. I might be able to show that. Let me just, so if I pull up, I'll do that in a minute. Let me finish this. The next one, reduced motion. That'll keep that motion one wallpaper from moving around as much and some other things from moving around as much. It's suggested that you turn that on, and that does eat batteries if it's not on. And the label, watch what happens with the label. The label is just this one that appears in the green. So if you turn that off, notice it disappeared right here. And so it's another just easy thing to see that, oh yeah, that setting's on. So I've played a lot, I play around a lot with this accessibility area. And I suggest you all do the same. Turn some of these on, see how you like the visibility, see how you like the way the device works, and go from there. What else did I have for you?
What is the on-off labels? I see you have it on.
Yeah, I just went over that. You must have been taking your nap.
Sorry.
If you turn this off, this one disappears from the on-off. So I'll do it again.
Yeah.
See?
What purpose is it?
It's just a visual purpose. It's just a visual purpose. So whenever anything is on, it will be green and it'll have that number 1 there. So if you don't want it, that's the only purpose of it.
But does it affect things only in settings, or would it take the labels off of your home?
It affects things everywhere that the on-off switch is. And you'll see that
Okay.
as we go through, because I'm going to leave it on. So whenever you see a green switch that's on, you're going to see a 1 there. But it's strictly a visual thing. Okay? Yes.
Mono audio.
What's that?
Mono audio. Did you?
The mono audio, I had that on and I turned it off, and I really haven't read much about it, but to be quite honest with you. But if you Google it, you'll get responses.
Mitch,
Yes,
Jim Corsica. I think that only affects when you use headphones.
headphones.
Yeah, because I think if you use the phone or the iPad naturally with the sound, it's already mono.
Okay. Thank you, John. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here for a minute. But I do suggest you play around with those accessibility options. And I want to go and talk about some of the other features that I'm sure you're probably aware of if you have iOS 7, but for the first day or so, it sort of drove me a little crazy. And that is first of all, when you press the home button twice, you no longer get, the icons is just at the bottom, and you have to go in and make them wiggle to get things closed. What happens is this screen comes up, and it shows everything that I have open on here. And it'll show a miniature picture of it. So here's Mail, and here's a miniature picture of the page that's open in Mail. Here's texting, and here is a miniature picture of the text page that's open. So if I want to go to that app, I can just double click the home button. I can say, oh yeah, the message is the one I want. Just hit it and it comes up. Okay? Now, while we're on messaging, there are a lot of things in iOS 7 that are sort of hidden. And I'm sure you've found that. And one of them is the timestamp of messages. Does anybody know how to show the timestamp in messages? I knew you would. Jeff knows. Well, all you do is take, all you do is take your finger and swipe this way. So watch out what happens when I do that. See the times?
Yeah,
See them?
yeah.
Okay. You can't get them to show permanently. You just have to go like this. Okay? It's the same on the phone.
Right to left.
Yes, right to left. In this area, not over here. Okay? All right, so now,
How do you close out the ones that you just opened? You double tapped on.
okay, I'm going to go to that. So I'm going to double tap again. Now I'm back to here. Double tap the home button. I'm back to here. Now I want to close out. The messaging one. All you do is, with your finger, anywhere on here, swipe up. Okay? That's how it turns it off. Yeah, it turns off the app. Okay? Just like the old squiggle and the X's appeared. And also, you can do more than one at a time. So, like if I'm here, and let's see, and I'm going to do these two at the same time. So I'm going to take my fingers and put it on here and here and go up at the same time. And you can actually, if you're proficient, you can do 3 at a time. Okay? Oops, okay. So, whoops. Okay, so let's go right back to here again. Close a couple more of these. Okay? Yes?
Is there any way, Mitch, to close them all at once without?
No.
So
No, they still haven't given us that.
5 fingers.
Huh?
5 fingers.
5 fingers.
And you can do 5 at a time.
No, you can only do as many as is showing on the screen, which is 3. Nice try. Jeff, I haven't heard anything about them.
No, not yet.
There's not a switch to close them all.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
iOS 8.
Yeah. Probably iOS 8. So this is one of the things that really changed, and is really different. But this is how you close apps. Now, we go back here and go over a couple of the other things that really changed. If you're on any screen and you go and you put your hand anywhere in here, not at the very top, not at the very bottom, just like in here, and swipe down, the search bar comes up. Okay? Where you can search and like if I put in, I'm going to put in my name. Okay? So when my name comes up, it searches everything with my name. I work for Merrill Lynch, many of you know that. That's why I have this on and I'm not sitting there in comfortable clothes like you all. And it just goes through everything where my name is mentioned. Now my name might just be mentioned like on the Seeking Alpha, it came into my mailbox. So, but that's how you do the searches, okay? Once again, anywhere in the middle, I can be on, it's sort of nice because you can be on, I can be way out here on this page, and instead of having to go all the way back like you used to get to search, you just, wherever you're at, go like that, and then just start typing in.
How do you get rid of it?
Just like that, just touch the screen. Okay. Any question on searches? Yes.
John, not on searches, but can you still make folders, put apps into?
Yes, okay, we'll talk about that. Since you brought that up, we'll talk about that right now. So here are some folders. The thing that has changed about folders is only 9 items show in a folder, but you can have as many pages in a folder as you want. It's unlimited. So if I go to games, you'll see that there are 2 dots down here. That means I've got 2 dots, 2 pages of games. If I start adding more games, it'll go down and put 9 of them in here, then it'll go and add another page. It's unlimited, and it's unlimited on the iPhone. So you no longer, like I have 2 references once, because I ran out of room. Or you might have photos 1 and photos 2. You don't have to do that anymore. You can have them all in one. Yes.
Jack, so nice. Is there any, Mitch, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Any way to reach way over here on this page and get an item to put into that folder? I have a lot of wrestling getting them from one page to the next.
Yeah, no, it's the same way, but there's a trick to doing that, and I'll show you what the trick is. I'm going to go here to a page that I don't have much on, but if you want to do that and you're taking things from a lot of places and you're just trying to get organized, the best thing to do, I'm going to go to my final page, that way I'll know where I put these things, is to take these items and to put a couple of them up here. Okay? I'll put 2 of them up there right now. I can put all of them up there. Okay, now then, let's say that I want to take Game Center and I want to move that one, and I want to move this one, and I want to move them to the front page. Now I go to the front page, and I put them in. Yeah, and you put them in whatever folder you want. So, and then when you're done doing that and getting all organized, then you just go back to where you put your things that you really want on that bottom bar, which is what I'm going to do right away. And
So Mitch, you can't put the folder in the bottom bar.
you can put the folder.
Then bring it in.
You can put the folder in the bottom bar. I think you can bring it in. I've never tried that, but I think you can. Somebody can try that and let us know. Don?
Do you use the thing that combines all the newspapers?
You mean?
I wonder, how do you change, move something in that thing, what's it called?
Newsstand.
Newsstand. Newsstand is fickle. I had the Wall Street Journal outside of newsstand, and now it requires that I put it in newsstand, which sort of ticked me off.
Right. I'm wondering, I was fooling, moving stuff around. I only have 4 things in newsstand. One of them moved to page 2, and I can't get it back. No matter what I do, I can't figure out how to get it back on page 1. Have you ever moved?
I've never had that problem.
Never.
I only have a couple things in newsstand, and I really haven't played with it.
All right. I'll ask it now, thank you.
All right. So let's try that just for fun, George. Let me just go and get a folder like this one right here. Put it down here, okay, which is what you wanted. And then let's just say I'm going to put DJ in there. It does allow you to do that. Okay? And now I want to get that out, so I'm going to get it back out. And I'm going to get this back out too. And go and finish my thing up. I know what you're doing, George. You're trying to confuse me. Okay. So that's how that works. And to get this thing to stop jiggling, you just hit the home button one time. Yes?
The one thing you can do is you couldn't drag Game Center onto Safari in this example and create a folder while the container is in the dock there.
Oh, you can't.
No, you can drag something into an existing folder like we just saw,
But you can't make it.
create a folder that's sitting in the dock there.
Okay. Good point. Thank you, Jeff. Yes.
Could you tell me how to rename a folder?
Rename a folder. Yes. What's your name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Okay, Cheryl. So what you do to rename a folder is, first of all, you hold your finger on the folder or anything, you jiggle, then you open it up like this, then you go right up here to this area, and you see where the cursor is blinking up there? Right there? And you just back it, you hit the X to take it out completely, or you just, backspace. Okay? That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Done, hit done, and then to stop the wiggling, just hit the home button. Okay? Now, so we went over the double click the home button, and this comes up, and that's how you close the apps. And we went over the anywhere in the middle of the screen, just pull down and the search bar comes up and you can search. Those were two big changes. Now the other thing that changed is if you go all the way to the bottom, down in here on your iPad or iPhone, and go up, the control panel comes up. And it's fixed, unfortunately. You can't change anything in here in terms of saying, well, there's airplane mode. I really don't want that in there. I'd rather have something else. Yes, Jim?
Mitch, I noticed that there's the flashlight on the phone, but it's not on the iPad. I wonder why that is.
When I was out in Cupertino, I was talking to Tim about that. He said, I just didn't see a need to walk around in the middle of the night with my iPad. I have no idea.
The iPad doesn't have a flash.
It doesn't have a flash. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's
So
a
no
good
flashlight,
idea. Yeah, Jeff, good idea. Jim?
Yes.
The iPad does not have a flash, so therefore no flashlight.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You can turn that, so.
Yes.
Turn that off.
Okay. So,
How does he get that again?
okay, you see this little thing? This is how you get it to go away. You pull that down, okay? And to get it back up, you go right to the bottom of your screen and pull up. Okay? Yes?
Phil Jones, I'm sorry. How did you name the folder again? I missed it.
Okay, let me go back to that real quick. So here's a folder. You just hold on it till they wiggle. Okay? Then you hit on the folder and this comes up. Okay? You touch up here. If you if you touch the X, the whole name will disappear. If you just hit right here, the keyboard comes up and the cursor's right there, and then you just backspace.
Nobody can see the right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me do that. You hit right up here.
On the title.
Yeah, and when I touch my finger right there, the keyboard comes up.
Okay, what are you changing now? Down the earth. Nothing.
You're changing this name.
That's the only name.
That's the name right there. You see where the cursor is? If I backspace, it'll start taking letters out. Okay? And that was the same in iOS 6. Yes.
Still down Hutchings.
Yeah.
How do you change the name under each item? Or one of the
You can't. You can't. Those are the official names of the apps.
Okay.
Yeah. That answer it for you? Okay. So let's get back to where we were. Okay, so I'm going to go down here to the bottom and pull up the control panel. And there are some things here. If you're playing music, this is we'll start the music or stop the music. If you're playing, if this is the volume control, this is the airport mode. This is the Wi-Fi, or this is the internet. Internet's on. This is Wi-Fi. This is
Bluetooth. That's Bluetooth. That's Bluetooth.
this is Wi-Fi.
No, Bluetooth.
I'm sorry, Bluetooth. Bluetooth. This is Wi-Fi. And then this is the sleep mode. Do not disturb. This is the ringtone silence. This takes you, this is something I don't like. This one takes you to the stopwatch. I always want to go to the clock, because I use that for an alarm clock whenever I have something important to do. And this takes you to the camera. And this is, again, another place where you can brighten or darken your screen. Okay? Now, this is a little different on the iPhone.
Yeah.
There are some more controls there, and I'll tell you what they are. You get to it the same way, but at the bottom, it has a flashlight and it has a calculator.
Doesn't have ringtone on the phone.
No, it does not have ringtone. But it does have the flashlight. If I turn the flashlight on, it's quite bright. And the thing about, and I've used this in the middle of the night. I mean, this is right by my bed, and I just grab it, hit it. You know, one swipe up, and I know right where that button is. It's in the right-hand, lower left-hand corner. Just hit it. And but just don't make the mistake of turning your flashlight on to read a menu, and then go like this. It's going to be on. It doesn't go off automatically, and you're going to finish dinner, and your battery's going to be dead. So you got to remember to turn it off. Okay, now I want to show you this clock deal. So here's the clock, and here's what it goes to. It goes to the timer. You can't change that, but you can just go right here if you want to set an alarm and set an alarm. I don't have any on mine. I don't have any on my iPad because I never use this function on my iPad. I use it on the phone a lot.
Mitch?
Yes.
I just changed today to iOS 7, and I noticed that the clock icon actually is a real clock
It is a clock.
instead of being an icon.
It is a clock. Let me get that up here. Just reading about that last night. So what he's talking about is right here. It is a clock with a second hand. You can barely see it, but it is a clock now. He's static. Okay. Okay, so let's, yes.
What's the difference between a do not disturb and a switch on the side?
The switch on the side is do not disturb, but it's going to make your phone silent, or your phone or your device completely silent. It might vibrate if you have that vibrate function on, but that's it. The do not disturb will do the same thing, but it will allow, if you set it up properly, it'll allow certain people who you've authorized to come through, even though you have it on Do Not Disturb. And the Do Not Disturb has a time function on it that you can set up if you'd like. But that's a quick way of just saying, hey, Do Not Disturb and hitting it. But like I have my favorites. I got about 10 favorites on my phone, okay? Including, like my wife and my kids and so on. So even if it's on Do Not Disturb and they call, the phone will ring. Whereas if you have that switch off on the side, it's not going to ring. Yes, Jeff?
I mean, one thing I was going to say, if you use Do Not Disturb manually through like the control panel and you turn it on, don't forget to turn it off, because I was getting voicemails one day and I thought, why was my phone ringing? Well, because Do Not Disturb was on. And if you have Do Not Disturb on, it doesn't vibrate, it doesn't ring, and it goes straight to voicemail. So if you do use that, make sure you turn it off, because
That's a good point. Now, one other thing about that is that if you do not turn it off, it automatically resets in 24 hours.
Oh, sorry, I never let her run that long, but that's
Yeah,
good.
now, if you slip the button on the side of the phone, it will not, that stays that way until you flip it back. But if you turn on Do Not Disturb, it only lasts for 24 hours.
I'm not sure that you're correct on that, because I just recently found the Do Not Disturb, and I was in a movie and I turned it on. And then for days, I wasn't getting calls, and I was wondering why. And it turned out between 1 and 3, no calls would come through every day.
Well, that's because you had it
Until I
on,
went in and manually turned it
that's
on.
because you had it on a time cycle between 1 and 3.
Oh, okay.
But if you turn it on, and you turn it on, and you want it on all day,
Okay.
and you turn on that button here, Do Not Disturb, then it's going to, in 24 hours, it will go off. Now, on my phone, I have it set to go on Do Not Disturb at like 11 o'clock at night and to go off at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that stays until I change the time, and that's what you're talking about. Yeah. So if you're trying to watch a movie every day at the same time, that's
It
right.
took me a couple of weeks to figure
Yes.
that out.
When you turn on this new system and iLog, you've got a passcode thing,
Quiet in the house.
can you get rid of that so you don't have to punch in a passcode?
No, I don't think you can. You have to go to the settings. Do you know if you can turn off the password?
With,
iOS 7. On your iPhone.
oh, no, you can't on iOS 7.
You have to
have a passcode.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
Well, if you set up the fingerprint, you have to have a passcode.
yeah.
We're talking about the iPhone?
If you have
A new one.
You can take a passcode, you can delete a passcode, so you can pick up your phone and not have to put anything in. But if you want to use the fingerprint feature, it requires that you have a passcode simultaneously.
I
Yes.
don't have a fingerprint, God.
The 5S anyway, that's the 5S.
Okay, so if you don't have a fingerprint phone, if you have the older phone, the 5, you can go into settings and you can turn that off.
How? I just want to.
Okay,
I don't,
I'll show you that.
okay.
So let's go into settings, which again is the stove burner. And we'll go into general, which is highlighted. And we'll go down to passcode lock, okay? And I have to put my code in. Okay, and then what I would do is I would go out here and turn off passcode. And when I would say turn off passcode, gives me some warnings. And I don't want to turn mine off, so I'm going to cancel.
Why would you want to turn it off?
I wouldn't turn it off, I wouldn't advise turning it off. They want it on in iOS 7, and it's to protect you. And so the other thing you can do is if you find it, well, I don't want to do it all the time, then the other thing you can do is you can require passcode. And if again, not on the 5S, not on the one with the fingerprint, but if you have a 5 or a 5C, you can go into this password required 15 minutes and you can change that to up to 4 hours or an hour, and that might help you.
Yes.
But believe me, you should have a password, even if it's a simple 4-digit passcode. Mine is 7, and I'm soon going to increase it even more, simply because I have the new phone, and 9 out of 10 times I can get in with my fingerprint now, and so I don't have to put a passcode in. So I'm going to make the backup really strong. Jeff, do you have any comments on that?
No, just I haven't had any problem with the fingerprint login. And I do notice that if you want to use a fingerprint to buy something from the iTunes store, that seems to expire after 24 hours. So even though your fingerprint, when you set up an iPhone 5S, will get you in all the time, you have the option of using your fingerprint to buy from the iTunes store. But unless you're buying, a music here and an app in the same day, my experience has been the next day you have to enter your passcode once manually with your fingertip, your numeric passcode, and then authenticate the finger again just for purchases.
Yeah. There are some other things too, is that If you try 5 times with your fingerprint that doesn't work, it's going to ask you for the backup passcode. And I think after 48 hours of, it might be non-use, it requires you to enter a passcode.
And if you restart the phone for any reason, you have to enter the passcode
If you
manually.
restart it, you have to enter the passcode. Yes.
Kathy Romano.
Yes, Kathy.
A question on, if you're getting a phone call coming in from some company in Utah or Iowa and you don't know who they are, you don't want the phone call, is there a way of, and you're getting it every other day, is there a way of blocking it on your iPhone so that these people can't get through to you anymore or that you get charged for this?
Yes. There is. And the only question I have is, do you know, Jeff, I've always set them up as a contact and then did the block. Do you know, can you just do the block and not have them set up as a contact?
You can do the block. If you go to your, on the iPhone anyway, if you just go to your recent call list and you hit the information button, then you can, if you scroll down, you have the option to block this caller. I've blocked a couple of like telemarketers and such, and I don't know if they try to call back because you don't even know. So yeah, I think it's working when you block someone. I think the test would be, block someone you know, have them call you and see if it comes through, and then make sure you unblock them.
We're in touch.
These people who are coming in anonymous,
yes,
Yeah.
they are using different numbers. So you can block that number, or they will come back at you from another number.
Yeah, well, the
They're
one keeps
absolutely-
coming in from the same place all the time, and I just didn't know how to get rid of them because it's so.
Yeah, if you, Jeff is right. If you go to your recent calls, you'll see the number and you'll see an I over to the right.
Where is that?
Block this caller at the bottom.
And then go all the way down to the bottom and it says block this caller.
Gotcha.
And I don't think they can leave a voicemail either. I think it's just.
Well, here's what happens. We tested this out. We haven't tested it recently, but when it first came out, we tested it. And I tested it with my partner, Lupe, who's here, second row. And I blocked her, which was nice for a minute. And she called, and she actually got my voicemail.
Oh, okay. So
And she's, oh, hey, give me a call. I got nothing. And I think it's set up like that.
So you didn't get a notification of the voicemail?
No.
You
But
left the
she
message,
thought,
but it was
but
dead.
she thought I was getting the message. Now, we haven't tried it in a month or so, because I had a developer copy when we tried it. I've been meaning to try it again because I want to see if that's the same. I sort of didn't like that because I would have rather it said this call has been blocked. But the way it is, the caller doesn't know it's been blocked. But you don't know that you've gotten a call from them.
Yeah, you don't know that you missed it.
Okay? But I blocked a few, and as soon as I get one like you're talking about from a telemarketer,
Yeah.
I block them.
Yeah, and I certainly didn't want to, I was afraid to put them in my contact list because I'm stuck with them on my, you didn't want to have them.
Now, if you want to test it out, you can, if you pull up a contact, you can, at the bottom of your contacts, it'll say on your phone, block this call. You can block it, and you can say, hey, call me and see what it does.
Sure.
And then then unblock it.
Thank you.
Okay? Yes.
I have a clock question, Peggy Kirkpatrick.
Yes, Peggy.
When I tap on the clock, it shows the world clock or a timer. I can't get the regular clock.
So you're going to the clock,
So you do the clock on my
and you're going to the world clock.
I either get a timer or a stopwatch.
There you go.
I don't get any,
You don't get that?
no.
Hit the clock.
On the home screen here?
Well, here, you hit the clock right here. Hit the clock right there,
Yeah.
okay? And then this world clock comes up. That's what you're seeing, okay?
Yes.
Okay, then you just hit whichever one you want. So I'm gonna touch on New York,
I got it, thanks.
okay? And New York comes up. Okay, so we went over the bottom. I want to go over this one more time. This is important. All the way at the bottom, same on the phone, pull it up, do whatever you want. It's on by default. You can turn it off in settings if you don't want it to appear when your phone is locked. But it's on and then down. And the other one is the notification center, which is the same thing at the top. So if we go all the way to the top right here, not here, if I go here, it'll pull up the search. All the way at the top up here and pull down, and it'll have today. It's got the weather. It shows that I have 2 calendar events that are conflicting, which is the meeting today, because when I'm the speaker, I also put in a duplicate so I get an alarm. And it will give you a summary of what's going on tomorrow. My calendar looks clean for tomorrow morning. We have one event at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Okay, that's for this Today tab. Now you can actually touch on these up here, or you can just swipe. So I'm just going to swipe, and there's all. Okay, and all. There's a reminder for today's meeting. Here's some Instacast stuff that I've gotten. There's some LinkedIn stuff I've gotten. Now, you know, on the new iOS, unless you turn it off, apps are updated automatically. I sort of like that. Some people don't because they say, oh my God, it was, and this does happen. It hasn't happened to me yet, but you know, a developer gets through an app and they put on a new app on the calendar and it's updated automatically and it's got errors in it and they didn't know about it and nothing's working. So if you're doing automatic updates, you're going to get those. But I like the convenience of not sitting there going, oh my God, I got 10 updates this morning. I got to go through them. So I have mine on automatic. That's in settings. So this shows all the ones that were updated. It tells which ones were updated and when. There's some Seeking Alpha stuff that came in and some calendar stuff. And then this missed would just be stuff, it's sort of a catch-all. I never looked there. I always just look at the first 2. So again, to close this, it's right down here. You just pull it up, pull it up, pull it down, pull it up. Okay? Everybody got that? And I want to move on to Safari, which is important. Okay. So the next area I want to go over, we're not going to hit everything today, but I did want to hit on Safari, which is right here. Okay? So on my screen. So I'm going to hit on Safari, and I want to go over several changes here. Okay, so a couple of functional things that I'll go over. This right here, let's hit on that once. The arrow, that's to send to different places. So if I want to send this page on a message, an email, Twitter, Facebook, and then at the bottom, you can print, copy, add it to my home screen, which would add an icon to your home screen. If it's a site you want to go into all the time. Add to the reading list, bookmark. That's pretty much the same as on iOS 6. It's just, there it is with that arrow. Here is the, here's bookmarks. Here's my bookmarks. Here's my reading list. Okay. And here is Twitter news items that have come through. Now, the cloud. The cloud indicates all of my other iDevices. If I don't have the privacy setting on, it indicates what web pages I have open. So, on my iMac 2, I have open these few pages. And then on my iPhone 5S, right here, I have these pages open.
I'm sorry, how did you get that column?
The cloud, get on the cloud. Okay? And you can't have privacy browsing on, so watch what happens. If I go into Safari on this phone, let me see. If I go into Safari on the phone, and I hit this right in the bottom left-hand corner, you won't be able to see it, but it's right down here. If I hit private, which I'm going to do, watch what happens. Should have just disappeared. It's because I didn't close them all. But normally what would happen is all these would disappear. Okay? Oh, they did. There you go. See how they disappeared? Took a while to get to the cloud. And that's because I turned privacy on the phone.
Under settings.
You get YouTube where? Well, you might get YouTube if you're on YouTube, but the cloud is what you want to hit on. The cloud. That shows what's open. Okay? Yeah. Okay, you got the tab. If you don't have other devices open, nothing's going to show there. Okay? Everybody follow that? No? Do you have other devices open? Do you have for this to work, you have to have iCloud. You have to have an iPhone, an iPad, and a computer, at least 2 of those items. And you have to be browsing in a non-private mode. Okay? Yes?
How do you quickly close the website after you go into Safari?
Okay, I'm going to show you that. Oh, they came back. See how they came back?
Yeah.
Because I turned it back on. Okay? Okay. So, now, I want to, before I get to your question, so what the neat thing about this is I can go right to my iPhone, which is right, let's see, my iPhone. Mitch Bryars iPhone 5S, okay? And I can go to this one right here. And I can just hit on it, and that page will come up on my iPad right where I left off on the iPhone. Okay? Okay. Now, the other thing, if you want to open up a new page, that's this plus sign. Okay, and the plus sign is right here. And there's several you can choose from that are already there, or you just start typing one in, right here.
How do you
Or
put-
hitting, yes.
How do you put ones there?
Huh?
How can you put ones there?
Yeah, all these ones that have come up, they just sort of come up after you've used them for a while. Or they'll, notice they're the same ones that are in this line right here of my favorite ones that I have listed there. There's Bitly, there's Ecobee, there's this one, there's Apple. I really don't use that. I usually just pull this up and type in what I want. This line serves as a search engine for whatever search engine you've selected. I think it's, I think it's Bing.
Bing.
It's Bing.
They switched to Bing.
They switched to Bing. So if you type something in and you're searching, it goes to Bing, or it'll bring up the website if you type in apple.com.
How many do you have out of curiosity?
You can have as many as you want.
I'm just curious, how many do you have? Just those?
Oh, you mean right here? I just have these.
It's not up to your box yet, George.
I just have,
You want to turn them all off?
well, I would take them out of this bar. I'd take them out of this favorite bar.
So your tabs labeled
That's
favorites.
the menu bar in
That's-
Safari.
Yeah, that's the menu bar in Safari. That's my favorites.
Right, yeah, and the tab says that until you
Yes.
type another search in or
Right.
destination.
Right. Okay. So, let's go back to here. Okay, now, I had this question come in from one of our group members, and I think it was, let me just see. It was Pat. I know I'll pronounce this right. No problem. Kamenich? Pat Kamenich? She here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, she came in and said, AirDrop, she sent me a question, she said, my AirDrop's not working. She said, I have an iPhone 5, and I have an iPad, and I can send things for my AirDrop from my iPad to my iPhone, but I cannot do it the other way around. Both settings are correct. Both devices are shown to have everything. Both devices have the latest iOS version. Any suggestions? And so I sent back to her and I said, yes, turn off both devices by pressing the home button and the off button at the same time to reset the device to the Apple appears and let go. And that'll reset both devices. And I said also turn off AirDrop in both devices before you do that. Turn it back on when it comes on. And she emailed me back and she said that worked. Doesn't always work, but that worked. So, I had another question, and somebody said, gee whiz, on Safari, right out here, they used to have Reader, which would get rid of all this stuff and just show the text. And where did that go? And that stumped me for a minute, and I Googled it and played around with it, and finally figured it out. And if your page will do that, they've conveniently hidden it, and it's right here. If you open up a page and it has these squiggly lines there, then you can just touch on those squiggly lines, and voila, there it is. Okay? And that used to be out here, it used to literally say Reader. Now, if you open up a site that you can't do that for, like this one, notice it's absent. And that means that, hey, this site you can't just get the text only. This one was a Wall Street Journal article, and you could get it. See how it's right there? So if I hit on that, it'll just convert it into text. That's again, one of those hidden things. Now, if you want to close, let me go over here. If you want to close a site, I think you had a question, how do you close sites when they're open, close pages? On the iPad, you just, whatever page you're on, you can just hit the X right there. Okay? There were a couple interesting things in a few of these. We got 2 more minutes. Any questions on that? Now, on the iPhone, it works a little bit different. You can now have unlimited pages, and I don't think I can mirror. Can I mirror on my iPhone?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
We've not tried it with the new one, but it did work in the past.
Okay. On the iPhone, Safari works a little bit different.
See, and pull up your control panel and see if it says AirPlay.
Okay.
Is AirPlay there in the dark?
It does not say AirPlay.
Okay.
No. Okay. But in Safari, on the phone, if you go to the, see if I can tell you how to do it. If you go to the bottom right-hand corner, if you have several pages open, you'll see a couple page book. It would be, it's not shown here, but it would be down in this area on the Safari on your phone. And if you touch on that, what happens is, I don't know if you can see this, you start getting all your pages like this. Okay? And you can have as many open as you want. And I don't know if you can see this, but I'll hold it up. I go like this, see how many pages I have open? And then there's the ones that I have open on my other computers, including the iPad. Okay? So that little, I don't know if you can see it, but you probably can't see it, but where I'm pointing to is right here in this corner is where that is, that function. When you touch that corner, all the pages you have open are there. And then to close a page on the iPad, you can either, there's an X, you can't see it, but there's a little X right there you can just hit. If I hit the X right, I don't want to hit the X on something I don't want. So if I hit the X right here, it'll close the page. Or the other way you can do it is you can just slide it over and it'll close it. Okay. Now, I'm going to post a couple links after today's session. One I'm going to post will probably be to this article, which I felt was pretty good. It went through a lot of those. If you think your phone is working a little slow, and battery life, and it talks about these accessibility settings that we went over. Most of them that we went over. And so and it talks about where to go if you want those updates to your app. It's done automatically, which is the default. Where to turn that off. So I'll post that. And this particular series, I don't know if you subscribe to this OS X Daily, but it's really a good newsletter. You get it, George? Do you get it, Jerry? Yeah. The other one.
Might want to ask, is there a question?
Any questions? More questions? Yes.
What advice do you have for those of us who still need to change to the new operating system on older phones?
Well, if you have a, I think you can do it on what, 4 and up.
Yeah.
They tell you 4, it runs a little slow, and some of these features will not work. 4S, I don't know, what's your experience? And Lupe, does it work slow or not?
It's fine.
Fine?
Works fine, updated fine.
Okay, fine.
Do you have, a neighbor said you have to be quote connected, and I assume she meant connected to a power source.
Yes, okay. Here's the procedure. Hopefully you're backed up to your computer or or to the iCloud, but you want to make sure you do a final backup. Then you want to be connected, which is plugged in at home, on Wi-Fi. On Wi-Fi. And then you would start the update. Yes?
Bill, is your reading list completely stored on the device so that if you get on an airplane you can read it?
Yes, it is. So if you save something to the reading list, I'll sometimes save 2 or 3 articles to the reading list because I know I'm going to get on a plane and I don't want to buy internet or it's not available. Yes, it does. Yes?
It's not a question, but yesterday I had an experience that might be worth passing on. My battery ran out, and completely ran out, and when I recharged the battery, the phone did not want to come on. Just was completely brick. I tried to reset, hold the 2 for about 8-10 seconds, and nothing happened. So in desperation, I did the reset, and I held it to about 30-40 seconds, and then it came on. So if you think the reset should work, don't give up after 10 seconds. Keep
You mean until the apple appeared?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that takes a while.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a while for that apple to go away.
Well, once the apple is there, I know it's
Yes.
alive.
Yes. One more here. Change your mind. Okay.
One down there.
Yes.
If I read right, sounds like they're announcing a new iPad 5 on the 22nd of this month.
22nd of this month has been the official date, I guess,
The
given.
iPad 2 and the
I-
Pro,
iPad 5.
and the Mini 2,
And maybe the Mini
the
2.
MacBook Pro we just came up,
Yeah. There was another question.
the
Yeah.
operating
I
system.
was gonna say, if you have a moment, do you have messages on your iPad?
Yes.
You might show how to delete and forward messages now, because that's changed in iOS 7.
Okay.
And I've had a lot of questions
Questions
about
about
that.
that? Okay. So, so here's a message. Let me get a message. Here's a message, and if you hold down on the message and you hit more, okay, this check mark will come up, and also you'll notice that check marks, you can't see them, but there's actually circles by every one of these. I'll check another circle. So hit that one too. And then I can delete those, and it says delete all of it, delete these ones, or I hit the garbage can and delete these ones that are checked. Or down here at the bottom, okay, you hit the arrow. What did I do?
You did it.
Yeah, hit the arrow, and it says send to, and I will just type in to whoever I want to send it to. Let's cancel that. We do that one more time. So I'm going to go in and I'll hold this down, hold down to more, and that one's checked, and I'll check a couple more that you can't see those boxes, and then I'll hit this arrow, and it'll come up and it'll say who I want to send that to, and I will just type in their name and send it. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, how to forward, that's how you forward. It used to be a button on the bottom, now it's kind of hidden.
Yeah,
so
it's
you
sort of
get
hidden.
more.
A lot of things are sort of hidden. Okay? All right, so I thank all of you for coming. I'll be around for a few minutes.